Hi, what I wanted to run through with you today is the build of a set of scaffolds. I'm going to make this in two parts. The first part is the base, and this will get me to the first 1.8 metres of elevation, and the next part is the extension, and this extension takes me another 1.8 metres higher, so I should be, when I'm on the top of this platform, at 3.6 metres, so it should get me to a fairly reasonable height. But that's what we're attempting to do today. Hopefully this will be strong enough and portable enough to use around the house. Anyway, let's get cracking and see what this looks like when it gets made. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is just cut these lengths to 3200. I've got 8 of them that we'll need for the bases. Okay, so now we've got the 8 3200s all cut. So now we're up to the point where we need to cut the blocks that go in between those uprights. Okay, so for the uprights, all we need to do is cut 8 at 70. Okay, so for the final part of this, what we need to do is cut the cross braces, the ladders that are going to form part of the structure, and these need to be 900 wide, so 4 on each side, so 8 in total. Alright, assembly time. Alright, just before I start the assembly, I thought I'd give these little blocks that we cut out a quick sand. I can see there's a bit of tear out here on this side, so when I come to paint it up later, perhaps good to get rid of those. Okay, so for these uprights, I'm going to stitch tape these together just with some screws. These uprights I don't need to dismantle, so I'm going to permanently screw them together. So essentially we're going to have a block sandwiched between the two outer lengths. So I'm intending to send one of these screws. This is a 5mm wood screw, 5mm diameter wood screw with a hex bolt on the end. This one is just on 100mm long, so it should go all the way through and drill through the centre and capture the one on the other side, the upright on the other side. I was thinking of doing 2, one from each side, just slightly offset so they don't bump into each other. So these blocks are designed to go one in the end and then along the length of this upright. I'm going to put them at 900 intervals, so I'm just going to measure off quickly what that looks like, so it makes it a bit easier when I'm installing them later, so I've got a reference to where they are. So this end's going to be my base, so I'm going to put one of the blocks just towards the end of the base here. Grab a clamp and just set all this in place. It's nice and level here, and I'll do the same, and I'll clamp these along at those intervals that I just put in. Okay, so I'm just going to pre-drill some holes to make it a bit easier for the screws to go in. I'm going to put them in the sort of roughly in the bottom right hand corner of this first lot of screws. Sweet. Okay, now it's just roll her over and rinse and repeat. First one done. So these are now the finished uprights for the base of the scaffold. All we need to do now is put in the cross members braces to form the ladder. So this will be these that will go in at 600 spacings throughout the thing, and this will obviously be just sort of something like that. Alright, so I'm just going to measure these up so they're both at the same levels, and then we'll crack on from there. So these uprights have now been completed with cross members. So this is the first half of the base. Okay, so in the next part of this build, we're going to build the extension portion. So what I need to do is cut 8 lengths of 1870 for the main supports, and then 8 lengths of 900 millimetres for the cross bases. Alright, so let's start cutting, and then we'll start putting all of this together. this first one's cut at 1870, or you need to cut 8 at 1870. Okay, now we've got all the components cut out for the top section, so it's time to put the uprights together. In the first instance, what we want to do is just, as we did with the bottom section, is place these spaces in and screw them securely into place. I want these at 900mm intervals, so I'm just going to mark that up, and then we're going to screw these in. Just make sure that when you mark them up, that you've got these bottom faces as close together as you can. Just means that when you put it on top, they'll be aligned pretty well. Alright, let's pop some screws in. Okay. This one's now done. So now we've got the uprights done for the second section, the top section. One of the things that we want to also add into this is the connecting bars that lock the top and the bottom section in. And you can see that in this design here we've got these components here that lock these two in together, and what I want to do is just slide that into there and then lock it into this top section here. So this is the same material, it's just 600 long, so 300 will go into here and 300 will poke out, and then when I'm assembling this it will be a bit easier . So the idea was that I was just going to put some long screws through these because I want them super secure, so I'm going to put the 100mm screws in here so it goes through all three sides. Alright, perfect. These are done. Now, we need to put the cross members in. So for this final part, we're going to put the uprights in, just to complete the top section. So we'll have these at 600 millimetres apart, so they'll look something like this. That's up here. These ones at the bottom, this one towards the top. So I'm just going to mark them out at 600s, and then we can screw them down, and this one's finished and we have to do it to the second one. So I've got all the timbers lined up now for the platform, so basically I've clamped them all together, and the reason I've done this is I want to cut out notches in these timbers, and I want them to be fairly well aligned, so that's why I've clamped them together. So when they are then screwed onto the platform, I should get them nice and evenly and correctly spaced, so they notch correctly into the platform. So essentially the first cut is 70 millimeters from the edge, which is the width of one of these boards, and then it's 35 millimeters deep or thereabouts, 35 millimeters wide to match the width of the board, and then I'm going to cut the depth of the notch down to about 20 millimeters. On this particular circular saw I can set the depth of cut, so I've just chosen around about 2 mils, locked that in, so every cut for this notch will be exactly the same, or the same depth. So this is the first platform. Pretty simple solution. It's just a piece of 12mm plywood, which is, in this case, it's 1570 long and 700 wide. And these braces that have been screwed onto it are 1570 long as well, exactly the same length as the ply. And these are the notches that we cut out before, and the idea is that these this will just hook in. This is obviously upside down, but this will hook into the ladder braces on this scaffold. So there's one on this side and another one on this side. So what we're going to do next is make the second platform. The second platform is a little more complicated in that there are 3 segments, and what we want to be able to do with the second platform is have a sort of a trapdoor in the middle segment so we can access that top platform via the trapdoor, so we don't have to go up on the outside of the scaffold. We can do it all hopefully safely through the middle of the platform. Okay, so here are the basic components for the upper section of the platform. We've got two outside bracing planks. These are the ones with the, as before, with the notches that we put in. We've also got a centre plank, and with the trapdoor design in this one, we have a space for the trapdoor to go in. So this is what the frame's going to look like. Actually, if I turn it over the other way, these notches going down, because it'll be it's upside down at the moment. So this should look something like this. The flooring goes over the top like this. Almost forgot, it's very important to drill a hole in this trapdoor, so when you're standing on top of it, 3.6 metres up in the air, you can easily open it back up to get back down. So hopefully this 1 inch or 25mm hole be big enough. And I might just drill it from the other side, so just minimise the tear out. So just a quick run through of the components. On this side here we've got the platforms, the two platforms, one that goes at the first level and the second one that sits behind this one that goes on the second level. The second platform's got a little trapdoor so we can get up through it. Then here we've got the main support. So there's two of these components that need to go up. We've got the side rail edging here. There are 8 pieces here. These are all notched so they fit into the cross rails of the main supports. And then these, we've got 4 of these long braces that go diagonally to support. We've got 4 of those, so 2 for the bottom and another 2 that go into the top section when we mount that.
through the table. Fuck, I looked at it and I thought,
I forgot to put the, well, I've only just cut a little line in it, but a 3mm.
I'm looking at it thinking, I thought maybe you've set the depth so it doesn't actually go through.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a nice straight cut.
Yeah, it is.
It's all on video.